of the Affirmative Action Act and have this regulation applicable to every employer in Namibia. So in other words, every vacancy, there must be a salary scale so that we know. So that we don't have the same two receptionists, one black, one white, one green, one blue, paid differently, just because we don't know the salaries. It is so submitted, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, the member may please table the motion, the notice. Yes, Honorable Kalola.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker. I hereby give notice that on Thursday, September 18, 2025, I shall ask the Honorable Minister of Education, Innovation, Youth, Sports, Arts and Culture, Sanet Stenkamp, the following. 2 years ago, parents of learners attending an unregistered lower primary private school in Windhoek, Koreakap area, asked the Ministry of Education to register the school immediately. Parents, along with community members, urged that they had done everything they could to collaborate with the government by establishing the school. The area lacked a formal school nearby. The nearest primary school was of the old farm primary school, located a few kilometers away. This school was established in 2019 and is built on a private property owned by a qualified teacher employed full-time as an educator in Cageman's shop. The school employed 10 qualified teachers, including a principal and 2 cleaners, who were responsible for about 250 learners. It is the registration of the school that became a stumbling block. We are not going to act like we don't know the communities and private organizations in Namibia have been setting up schools to supplement government efforts, often by addressing resource gaps like infrastructure, funding, or specific needs for marginalized groups. This is just one of the many examples. The Ndama East School in Kavango East region could be the next example. I therefore wish to ask the Honorable Minister the following. The Basic Education Act 2020, Act number 3 of 2020 defines a teacher as a staff member who has qualifications to teach others in formal education and whose occupation is teaching, and includes a staff member who does not have a teaching qualification but has other abilities and qualifications that are relevant to teaching. The volunteer teachers at Ndama East School have such qualifications, and some have been teaching there since 2023. Does their teaching experience not count, since the school at which they are teaching is not registered and thus not legally recognized by the government? Number 2, has the ministry evaluated the organization and operation of Ndama East School and the quality and effectiveness and efficiency of the education provided there, including the quality of teaching and effectiveness of individual teachers in terms of the Act? What if these teachers are actually offering quality education? Has the ministry evaluated the education standards at the Ndama East School, since the ministry has urged that unregistered schools compromise the quality of education in Namibia?
Yeah.
Number 4 and last, the learners who will complete the primary school phase at Ndama East School, will the ministry recognize their primary school phase completion and facilitate the transfer of such learners to other schools for completion of the secondary education phase? I so submit, Honorable Speaker.
Yes. Thank you. Honorable Member, before you table the question, I just would like to remind all the members that according to the rules, Rule 85, Sub 1, movers of questions are to move their questions within 3 minutes. So please, let's not make the questions too lengthy. The honorable member may please table the question. And I want to remind the front desk that we should set the timer every time the questions are posed and when members are answering, and all the other items that have time limits. So you may please table the questions. Yeah. So all the honorable members who are not complying with the dress code are please advised to do that, because I can see that there are so many who are not compliant, and there are so many that are pointing out the non-compliance of others. Yeah, I am informed, honorable members, I am informed that there are 3 officials from the Parliament of Ghana who are in the public gallery up there, and they are here for benchmarking. Yeah. You are welcome, please. Yes. You are welcome. Yes. I was wondering why the IPC MPs are wearing the kente clothes. No, I don't even want to consider that connection. Yes. Yeah, at least it's not party colors, it's just Pan-Africanism. Yes. Oh, now I recognize Honorable Ihemba.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and a happy African Day, African Unity Day to you, and to all the members in the House. Honorable Speaker, I hereby give notice that on Thursday, the 11th of September 2025, I shall ask the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security, Honorable Lucia Ipumbu, the following. But just before that, Honorable Speaker, the aim of this is to hold the Honorable Minister accountable as per mandate assigned to her. Honorable Minister, the issuance of certificates of conduct is not a luxury. It is a fundamental requirement for our citizens, especially our youth, to secure employment, pursue education, and engage in various aspects of life. Yet, a system that was once functioned efficiently has now collapsed into chaos, causing immense frustrations and economic hardship for the Namibian people. In light of this, I ask the Honorable Minister the following questions. What is the exact timeline of events that led to systems deterioration from a same-day service to a complete shutdown as experienced in June and July 2025? Question number 2, does the Minister fully grasp the severe economic and personal impact on this crisis, particularly on our unemployed youth who are being denied opportunity due to inability to obtain required documents? Number 3, and the last one, is why are the unemployed compelled to pay 150 Namibian dollars each time they apply for Code of Conduct certificate, which then expires after 6 months? This renders them hopelessness and end up giving up on applying for employment and eventually giving up on life. Yes. I so submit, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, you may please table the question. You may, can you please table the questions, Honorable Member? I now recognize Honorable Mbinge Sheundo.
I hereby give notice that on Thursday, the 18th September 2025, I shall ask the Minister of Education, Innovation, Youth, Sport, Arts and Culture, Honorable Sanet Steenkamp, the following. The creative industries in Namibia have long been proclaimed a national priority. Yet musicians and artists remain marginalized through chronic neglect, limited funding and limited recognition under the ministry's watch. While state resources are poured into beauty pageants like Miss Namibia and other once-off events, meaningful investment in the music and art sector is evidently absent, even though this sector is central to shaping national identity, strengthening social cohesion, and empowering young people. The imbalance exposes serious gaps in policy and accountability while threatening the long-term sustainability of a field that has enriched Namibians' cultural heritage and economy. I therefore wish to ask the Honorable Minister the following. What policies or programs has the Ministry implemented in the last 5 years to support creatives, and what measurable impact have they had? In view of these significant contributions made by musicians, artists, and all the creatives to national culture, what mechanisms are in place to ensure their access to social security, health coverage, and retirement benefits? How much do the music and creative industries contribute to Namibia's GDP? And why is this sector still treated as secondary despite its potential for job creation and youth empowerment? Why is the national arts culture underfunded? And when will the ministry allocate adequate budget to meaningfully support creative nationwide? How will the ministry preserve and support the legacies of musicians who educated, mobilized, and carried national struggle through music? In conclusion, during national events, the same musicians and artists are repeatedly selected to perform. Would the government consider implementing a rotational system for the performance of artists during official events, so to provide equal opportunity to a wide range of talent in our country? I so submit.
Thank you. May the honorable member please table the questions. Yes. I now recognize Honorable Hangula.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I hereby give notice that on Thursday, September 18, 2025, I shall ask the Honorable Minister of Education, Innovation, Youth, Sports, Arts and Culture, Honorable Sanet Steenkamp, the following. The Ngobe Junior Primary School in the Kavango East region accommodates over 412 learners. The school has been in existence for 5 years. The school offers classes from pre-primary to grade 3 and has no adequate toilet facilities, forcing both learners and teachers to rely on makeshift pit latrines. Honorable Speaker, in addition to the sanitation crisis, the school lacks basic learning infrastructure, with classes being conducted in corrugated iron structures and under trees, as you can see here. Honorable Speaker, this story state of affairs has increased school dropouts.
No, honorable members, please, that is not allowed. It's unparliamentary. Please, can you just read it? Yeah.
It's evidence, Honorable Speaker.
No, it is not allowed to do that. Really, we are driving the House into disorderliness. No, let the honorable member pose his questions. Honorable Ampanda, you are the leader of your party, and you are leading your team to act in that way. You are the leader of your party. So you are leading them to act like that. Yes. Okay, can you comply to withdraw what? No, but can you follow the rules of the House? No, sit down also, comply with the rules, then we all comply with the withdraw what? What is insulting? Just express your disagreement, you take the floor, but I have not said anything that violates the laws to warrant that I should withdraw it. Yeah, you can complain about it, you ask for the floor, and then you complain. Express a view, and I respond. But you can't just say because you say, I withdraw, even if it doesn't violate. Yeah. You proceed, Honorable Ahangula, please, with your no. You can ask for the floor and express your concern under a point, and then I make a ruling on it. I'm not promising to withdraw. No, I withdraw only if I done something wrong, which I have not. So, Honorable Hangula, proceed. Yes, point of order. Oh, I can't see the, Honorable Ita. Yes, you have the floor, Honorable Ita.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise on point of order in terms of Rule 131, Sub-Rule 1, Paragraph D. A question may not contain arguments, inferences, opinions, apputations, epithets, or hypothetical matters. I'm referring to a question which was posed by a member that it contains arguments, it contains inferences, and honestly, it does not guarantee to be posed in this August House. I so submit.
Yes. Yes, Honorable Vena Ita, is it the question that is being posed now, or is it an earlier one? Yes, Honorable Member, which question is that one you are referring to? Is it the one that the Honorable Hangula is posing now?
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, I'm pinpointing the question which was asked recently.
Which one?
Which was asked recently by a member, whereby also indicating a sort of pamphlet to this August House.
Pamphlets.
Okay, so that is the question that is being posed by Honorable Hangula now. Is
Yes,
that so?
I don't know the name, but I think it's...
Okay, so that
but
is
I
the
think it's
Honorable Member who is
Hangula.
on the floor, ne? Is that the Honorable Member who was on the floor when you raised the point of order? Yes.
Yes, Honorable
Okay,
Speaker.
so you have made your point. You may please take your seat. Let me hear him out. Let me hear what he's saying to judge to consider what you said.
Honorable Speaker, it is very strange that my in-law, my father-in-law is accusing me of. I didn't even get to ask him the question yet.
Okay, Honorable Member, can you go on? I want to hear the question. Yeah, can you go on? We just want to hear the question, so that we can make that conclusion. Can the Honorable Member just go on?
Honorable Speaker, I beg to be given the opportunity to finish my brief statement and then get to the question.
Yeah. Honorable Member, I would like you to read the question,
Yes.
because the member is making a point of order, saying your question is out of order. I need to hear the question so that I will be able to tell whether the point of order stands or not.
Yes,
Yeah.
I didn't hear the question because I didn't ask it either. So
Yeah,
I don't
okay,
know.
please just proceed.
May I
Then.
proceed?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you
Yeah.
very much. This story state of affairs has increased school dropouts, with many learners struggling to cope with overcrowding and inadequate facilities. It is an absolute crisis in this school. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, for context, one grade 1 class accommodates 91 learners, far above the recommended teacher-learner ratio. Even worse, the school has been without water since its establishment, forcing it to purchase water tanks and buy water. The electricity was finally brought to the school only this year by the Ministry of Education following repeated requests. I therefore, my Honorable Ita, wish to ask the Honorable Minister of Education the following. Is the Honorable Minister aware of the sorry state of affairs at the school in question? Number two, is the school legally registered and recognized by the ministry? If the answer is yes, then why is the school situation similar to that of Ndama East Primary School, which is apparently not registered by the ministry? And last but not least, what are the plans of the ministry to mitigate the situation at Nobel Junior Primary School? I so submit.
Yes, thank you. Can the honourable member please table the question? We would look at the first part to see whether there was something to consider what the honourable member said there, but I followed the questions and we admit the questions on that basis. But I just would like to advise the members that these are our rules. Let's continue to look at them and strive to be compliant at all times. Yeah. Then I recognize Honourable Lukato.
Honourable Speaker, honourable members, leaders of all political parties, I raise to give notice that on Thursday, the 11th September 2025, I shall ask the Honourable Sankwasa, James Sankwasa, Minister of Urban and Rural Development, the following question. That's only a single question.
Very good.
The complainant is come from Mr. Maris Zide of BV Investment. The 50% interest charged by City of Windhoek to clients. So my question, why is the Windhoek municipality billing people on properties that are duplicated? No windows, no ventilation, no electricity, and no water, etc. That 50% interest rate. There are certain duplicated property in Windhoek West, situated at 146 Batch Street, owned by Mr. Maris Zide. 609, this property is being charged 7,800 cubic liters of water. Can you give me time, please?
Oh, okay, there is a point of order, Honourable Lukato. Honourable Lukato, there is a point of order.
Honourable Speaker, the rules provide that you don't mention people's names when they are not in this house because they are not able to defend themselves. You can make reference to a property but not to mention an individual's name. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Honourable members, please, that is a point. Let us not discuss people. Let's discuss issues. And I want to reiterate that point that was also raised by Honourable Vena Ita, where he said a question may not contain arguments, inferences, opinions, imputations, epithets, and hypothetical matters. Maybe not all of these issues arise, but when we, instead of asking a question, we are making allegations, it makes things difficult. This is supposed to be a question and answer session. So I revert the floor back to Honourable Lukato. Please, can we just ask the questions?
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. For,
yes, there is another point of order, but okay. Honourable Ampanda, you were supposed to wait for him to say at least something. No, he didn't. When you say point of order, he didn't. I just gave the floor to him and you asked the point of order. Please just take it. It's advice. So you can take the floor now because I have given you. But the rule is this, that when somebody is on the floor, a person makes a point of order, they are given a point of order. When the floor reverts back, a person must at least make a statement, something that can lead to a conclusion. Now you have a floor.
Okay, thank you, Speaker. I think this matter is good that we are raising it here. It seems that this misunderstanding have continued from the 7th Parliament. I tried to inform myself as far as what does the rule says on questions. There's only one rule with regards to people's names. It doesn't say that because they cannot defend themselves. In fact, the rule says you can mention people's names if it's so that it's helpful for the purpose of what the question is being put. There is no bending of the rules. We can go to the rule itself. It doesn't say you can't mention the name of a person. It says the names of people are to the extent that it is assisting in elucidating the question. There is nothing in the rule, unless somebody can say and read out the rule. So, yes, there is a provision like that, but it has been misinterpreted, unless maybe it was in the old rules. These current rules only speak about the fact that in the instances where you're using somebody's name, it is in the context for the purposes unless it's there on the rules of debate, rules with regards to questions.
Okay, honorable member, you have made the point.
Okay.
You may not take the seat. I will read that rule. It says, a question may not include the names of persons unless that is necessary to render the question intelligible. So I don't agree that without the name, the question will not be intelligible. So I don't agree. And also the rule, there is also a rule that says when the speaker makes a ruling, there is no debate. But I just want to clarify this one to say, a name, you would only be compelled to mention a name if it is necessary to render the question intelligible, meaning without mentioning the name, the question will not be intelligible. So it cannot be said, according to my ruling, that what Honorable Lucato is raising now will not be intelligible without the name being mentioned. So I think really that point stands. So Honorable Lucato, may you please proceed?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the floor. A so-called property is being built as if it's still in full operations. The property is still going through renovations. The water has been disconnected since 13 January 2025. And why is the 50% interest charged by the City of Windhoek to the clients? Honorable Speaker, members of Parliament, this action brought the complainant to the office of the Minister of Urban and the Rural Development, and the letter was signed by the Executive Director on the 11th January 2025, but unfortunately, there was no feedback as was promised. Then please, Honorable Minister, can you respond to address this matter and your solution to this matter, and give feedback to this August House and to Mr. X, the complainant? I so submit the Honorable Speaker.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Lucato. You may now table the question. Yeah, thank you, Honorable Lucato. Oh, at least he tried to comply there, because immediately he decided he would not repeat the name anymore after being advised as such. Now I recognize Honorable Shitana.
I hereby give notice that on Thursday, September 18, 2025, I shall ask the Honorable Minister of Education, Innovation, Youth, Sport and Culture, Honorable Sanet Steenkamp, the following. I followed with profound interest, and I listened attentively as you were delivering your ministerial statement last week. You have reaffirmed your ministerial constitutional mandate to provide quality education to every Namibian child. I therefore wish to ask the Honorable Minister the following. The Minister is saying that Ndama East parents and other members of the community are insisting that the Minister endorse an unregistered school at Ndama East on the ground of the convenience and the personal preference. Before you were appointed as a minister, you served as the executive director in that ministry. Have you ever personally visited that school in question to familiarize yourself with the situation of those learners? Number two, what has informed the ministerial allegation that the Ndama East School exists not because there is a need, but merely on the ground of the convenience and personal preference? I so submit.
Yes, thank you. Can the honorable member please table the question? I now recognize Honorable Fries.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I hereby give notice that on Thursday, the 18th of September 2025, I shall ask the Minister of Finance, Honorable Eric Shafuda, the following. The Ministry of Finance's decision to end all discretionary payroll deductions for government employees with the payroll deduction management system on 13 November 2025 raises serious concerns about the financial security of civil servants. While existing loans will continue, or rather, while existing deductions will continue, employees are being forced to shift insurance premiums, union fees, and other voluntary deductions to bank debit orders, which within an uncomfortably short 3-month period, creating potential disruption and confusion. This abrupt change threatens to increase credit risk, tighten loan terms, and make smaller insurance policies largely unaffordable, thus disproportionately affecting lower income and rural workers. I therefore wish to ask the Honourable Minister the following. Number one, will there be safeguards in place to ensure that employees are not unfairly penalized, for example, through additional fees or delays during the transition from payroll deduction management system to bank debit orders? How does the Ministry plan to address concerns from banks and micro-lenders about the increased risk of non-payment once payroll deductions are no longer guaranteed? Question number three, what concrete measures has the Ministry implemented to ensure that employees, particularly low-income and rural workers, can smoothly transition insurance premiums, union fees, and other voluntary deductions to bank debit orders within the 3-month period? Number four, has the Ministry assessed the likely impact on interest rates, fees, and loan approval processes, particularly for smaller loans and insurance policies that may become unviable under debit order systems? And lastly, how does the Ministry plan to ensure that insurance companies can effectively transition premiums to bank debit orders without causing widespread lapses in coverage, particularly for lower income government employees who may struggle to set up alternative payment arrangements? I so submit, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. The Honourable Member may please table the questions. I recognize Honorable Mongo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I hereby give notice that on Thursday, the 18th of September 2025, I shall ask the Minister of Justice and Labor Relations, my dear Father, Honorable Philemon Wise Emmanuel, the following. Despite the Maintenance Act number 9 of 2003, mandating financial support for children, systemic inefficiencies in Namibia's maintenance courts have led to persistent delays in payments. Single mothers often face financial strains, resorting to high-interest loans due to inadequate staffing, logistical challenges, and coordination issues. This highlights the urgent need for reforms to ensure timely enforcement of maintenance orders and uphold children's rights under the Act. I therefore wish to ask the Honourable Minister the following. What step is the Ministry taking to address constant delays in child maintenance payments through magistrate courts, and how is the Ministry ensuring the timely disbursement of funds to the mothers, fathers, and guardians? Can the Minister provide the average processing time for maintenance payments across all magistrate courts in Namibia and indicate whether there are specific courts with particularly extra long delays? Mothers, fathers, and guardians in remote and rural areas constantly express frustrations over delayed payments and lack of updates from court officials. What initiatives are in place to improve communication with beneficiaries regarding the status of their maintenance applications and payments? Are there plans to decentralize maintenance services to make them more accessible to beneficiaries outside towns and major urban centers? Can you provide data on current staffing levels versus the workload in maintenance court and the projected timeline for addressing any gaps? And lastly, Minister, what mechanisms are in place to ensure timely enforcement of maintenance orders, particularly in cases of default by non-custodial parents, and are these mechanisms sufficient given the current caseload? I so submit.
Yes, thank you. Can the Honourable Member please table the questions? I recognize Honourable Nashinge.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. I hereby give notice that on Thursday, the 11th of this month, I shall be asking the Honourable Minister, Lucia Ipumbu, my counterpart. Yes. Honourable Minister, Shadow Minister for our beautiful ministry. Honourable Minister, in light of Nampost's core duty to enforce the law, I rise to ask several critical questions related to the operational readiness and legal compliances of the Namibia Police Force vehicle fleet. Honourable Minister, I have received information suggesting that Nampost officials' fleet management policy requires the decommissioning of vehicles that have exceeded 500,000 kilometers. Could you please confirm if this is indeed the case? If so, can you confirm or deny reports that this policy is being ignored and instead vehicles odometers are being tampered with to show a lower mileage? How many Nampo vehicles currently in service have exceeded the 500,000 kilometers threshold, and what is their status? Can the Minister provide a definitive number of Nampo vehicles that are currently operating without a valid NATIS disc, which is a legal requirement for all vehicles on public roads? What measures are being taken to ensure that all Nampo vehicles, including those used for patrol and transport, are roadworthy and in full compliance with the Motor Vehicle Ordinance? Is the ministry aware that police officers are being transported in vans not legally designated for carrying passengers, which is contravention of road traffic laws? What is the minister's response to allegation that officers who refuse to be transported in these unsafe and illegal vehicles are being punished or victimized? What steps will the ministry take to ensure that the safety of our police officers and to protect those who report such illegal practices? Given that Nampost is responsible for enforcing road traffic laws, how can the public trust the police force to uphold the law when it appears to be actively breaking this very same law? What concrete actions will the minister take to address these serious allegations and restore public confidence in the integrity and legal compliance of the Namibian police force? Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Some of these cars, I have seen them myself. So just to add to the question, thank you.
Yes, thank you. The Honorable may now table the questions, please. I recognize Honorable Haikola.
I hereby give notice that on Thursday, September 18, 2025, I shall ask the Honorable Minister of Education, Innovation, Youth, Sports, Art and Culture, Sanet Tienkam, the following. The Basic Education Act 2020, Act number 3 of 2020. Can I be protected, Speaker?
Yes, you are protected, please.
Okay, the Basic Education Act 2020, Act number 3 of 2020, outlines in Section 9 the right of learner to transfer. Specifically, Section 9(1) stipulates that where a learner is enrolled at a school where there is no provision for completion of primary or secondary education phases, such learner has the right to seek a transfer to any other school with the facilitation of the ministry for the completion of the primary or secondary education phase. I therefore wish to ask the Honorable Minister the following. Number 1, since the ministry is saying that Ndama East School is not legally registered and is not recognized by the government, does that mean the ministry does not uphold the rights of Ndama School learners who fall within the category described in Section 9(1) to transfer? Question 2, does the Ndama School principal not attend circuit meetings and participate in discussions? Question 3, it has been reported that in the 2024 school enrollment, the Directorate of Education in Kavango East recorded a total number of 77,713 learners, 2,598 teachers, and 2,120 classrooms. When reporting on such statistics, are the learners, teacher, and classroom statistics at Ndama East also included, since the school is not recognized by the government? And my last question goes, will the lack of proper planning on the ministry's part, informed by misleading statistics, not end up constituting an emergency for learners and the parents? I so submit.
Thank you. The member may please table the motion. The Honourable Member. I now recognize Honorable Klute.
You'll be disciplined by the faction.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On this African Union Day, I hereby give notice that on Thursday, 18th September 2025, I shall ask the Honorable Minister of International Relations and Trade the following question. In the interest of fiscal transparency and value for money, this Honourable House must be appraised of international travel undertaken by the Ministry of International Relations and Trade.
Welcome.
Given budget pressures and the need to align travel with measurable diplomatic and trade outcomes, it is appropriate that the details be placed on record. I therefore ask, how many international trips were undertaken by the Honourable Minister, her private office and supporting staff from 21 March 2025 to 1 September 2025? And for each trip, what were the dates, destinations, purpose, delegations, names, designations, funding source and class of travel, and the total and itemized cost, airfare, accommodation, DSA, ground transport, fees, visa fees, protocol gifts? Honourable Speaker, I so submit.
Yes, the Honourable Member may please table the questions. Yes, Honourable Members, the House will now rise for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, until 16 hours. You may please take a seat. Now we continue with the questions. I now recognize Honorable Kanderodu.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. I hereby give notice that on the 11th September 2025, I shall ask the Minister of Finance and Social Welfare, Honorable Erika Shafuja, the following questions. Shafuda, not the food. A person must turn 60 years old to qualify for pension grant. We are all included in this one, more especially the young ones. It's haunting you. After registration for the pension grant, a pensioner still has to wait for a period of 2 to 3 months before they start receiving the grant. Once the first grant is released, the months for the waiting period are not paid out, meaning they don't pay it retrospectively. As it stands, pensioners are already complaining about high cost of living and how hard it is to afford much with the current amount of 1,400 that they are receiving. Questions to the Minister. Why does it take so long for one to be registered for the pension grant? Why don't the pensioners receive back pay of the grant for the waiting period after registering for the grant? What happens to the money from the 2 to 3 months of waiting before receiving the first payment? Does this mean the pensioners must register for the grant 2 or 3 months before they turn 60, since the registration process takes so long? I so submit.
Thank you. The Honourable Member may please table the questions. I now recognize Honourable Mbundu.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, for the floor that you have given to me. Honourable Speaker, Honourable Member, I give notice that on Thursday, the 18th of September 2025, shall I ask the Minister of Education, Innovation, Youth, Sports, Arts and Culture, Honourable Sanet Steenkamp, the following. The Constitution of Namibia makes provision under Article 20, Clause 2 for the provision of reasonable facility of which access to water infrastructure shall be primary provisions. Hence, my personal investigation I've been made aware that some schools in the towns of Okahanja are facing water supply crisis because of the new prepaid system being installed at the schools. Thus, I ask, number one, the Minister is aware that the water supply of some government schools is limited, which means of the schools run out of predetermined water limits. Should they wait for the next monthly supply from the relevant service provider? Question number two, if it's that you are aware of this directive, could you please explain to this August House how the school should function without potable water once the monthly limit has been reached out? Honourable Speaker, with these two questions, I so submit.
Thank you. Honourable Member may now table the questions. I call upon Honourable Karonda. Oh, okay. Then let's first consider those with the written notices. Honourable Ipumbu. Okay.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I will go straight to the questions. This one is for the Honourable Minister of Health, Mr. Luvindao. On Thursday, the 18th, I shall ask the Minister of Health the following. Given the President Nandi Ndaitwah has revealed that 542 Namibians took their own lives between 2020, please, my younger brother, please, making Namibia the country with the highest suicide rate in Africa, what immediate and comprehensive action plan does your ministry have to address this mental health crisis? What specific steps is the ministry taking to strengthen mental health services across all 14 regions, particularly rural areas where access to psychological support may be limited? With 16 teachers reportedly taking their own lives in 2024 due to financial stress and mental health struggles, what targeted intervention is your ministry implementing in collaboration with the Ministry of Education to support educators' mental well-being? What programs are in place to identify early warning signs of depression and suicidal ideation in schools, workplaces, and communities? And how are these being scaled up given the alarming statistics? How many trained counselors and mental health professions does Namibia currently have? And what is being done to urgently increase these numbers to meet the growing demand? What comprehensive public education campaigns is your ministry launching to mental health issues and encourage Namibians to seek help before reaching crisis points? How is your ministry coordinating with other government departments, particularly social services, education, and labor, to address the root causes of mental distress, including financial stress, unemployment, and social isolation? And lastly, what percentage of the national health budget is currently allocated to mental health services, and will this be increased in light of this devastating statistic? I so submit, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, please table the questions, Honorable Member.
You might as well observe a moment of silence.
I call upon Honorable Kalangula. Oh, Honorable Muton. Oh, it's a motion. Okay. Okay. Now I recognize the right honorable. Is that a question?
Yes, but is it, what do you call it?
Oral.
Point of privilege.
Oh, point of privilege. Okay.
Yes, Comrade Speaker, point of privilege, but also for your guidance. Many of us are new. Many of us are new. They are excited because it's Africa Day. I want to, in terms of the structure of the questions that we ask in this August House, just that guidance are needed. So if my brother Karonda and I are working together, we see that there is a either a door knock that is not working. So will he not ask me while we are together, but he will wait for Parliament in order to ask me that question? Or is that really how it is? Or I'm just saying this, honorable members. It's like I thought that we are here, the interventions are policy related, and that from the experience or academic or historical knowledge that you have about a particular subject, then you say, honorable members, I'm rising stating this based on what I know, and I'm trying to provide this as possible solutions. And I therefore want to get expansion on this, etc., etc. But if it is about saying, I read somewhere and there was no full stop, Honorable, I want to ask about the full stop. Are you aware of it? While it is parliamentary, may be, but I'm not sure, Honorable Speaker, but I stand to be guided that it would be, I think, helpful for all of us that we direct our interventions towards policy matters, of which there are many, I must admit, there are many. but there are some that are not in that category. But if the rules, like rules 100, so rule 90, whatever you have, if it allows that, it's fine. But I'm just saying, Honorable Speaker, seeking your guidance and indulgence for those that are seniors, like my seniors that are here. They can tell us, but I really wanted to plead that because out there, people are looking at us as lawmakers, and they are also sitting in front of their television watching. But then sometimes when the level of what we are saying doesn't seem to conform to that expectation, I think it is probably not doing justice to either this side or that side. But that was just a question of privilege. Maybe I'm abusing it. My apologies.
Yeah, I'll rule, Honorable Prime Minister. It's
Thank you, Comrade Speaker.
That you have posed. Yes. No, there is a question put. I must respond to it first, isn't it? Or are you because yeah. No, I don't know whether I can have two people speaking to the same order. Yeah. Yeah. Let me just respond. Yes. So the Right Honourable Prime Minister, I think, queried two things. The first was whether it is not appropriate that members can also directly query issues with the ministries, whether they must necessarily always bring the issues to Parliament to pose questions on. That was the first one. And the second one was as to whether the questions are not supposed to query policy issues. Yeah, if I got him correctly. Now, with regards to the first one, indeed, it is best that we interact with one another. Also, as office bearers, approaching a minister at the office or wherever, so that the question is also put into a proper context and the answer is elaborate and put into a proper context. You know, because sometimes people even want to mention people's names. And we have rules that are saying you cannot come here and say things and the person feels victimized and they can't respond. But if you go to a minister, then you will be able to feel free and they put everything that you know on the table. And the minister would be able to answer or say, I'm going to investigate. I think that's a better option. But the rules do empower members of Parliament to ask questions to ministers on matters related to their offices. And therefore, the presiding officer would not, in a situation where a member chooses to pose the question here, for as long as they are compliant with the rules, the presiding officer won't be able to rule the question out, unless if that question violates a certain section, as was done today, and we were pointed to specific rules that were being violated. That is the first one. Now, with regards to whether the questions should be on policy issues only and not on operational matters, I think that one is a complicated one, because Parliament has an oversight, how do I say, role over the executive. And when we go out with our committee work, we do not only look at policy issues, we look at implementation, we look at everything. So I think within that context, it's difficult to say a question cannot be posed if it is not querying policy and it's querying administrative issues. But I believe really that we as leaders are in a position to say this is something on which I have to get up and ask a question. So I hope that I have assisted the Right Honourable Prime Minister, but I see Honourable Ampanda also want to ask a question. Is that a point of privilege also?
Yes, Speaker.
Yeah, because we are still in
thank
the
you very
middle.
much, Speaker. That's what happened when you are always absent. So you did very well, Speaker, to articulate it in this way. But Prime Minister, you equally have a responsibility as a leader of government business. If it so happens that there is a particular observation, nothing stops the Prime Minister from also engaging this side as well. For instance, a minister stands up, go and have a whole statement on a member. So what should that member do? So there are two responsibilities. One, the leader of government business also have that responsibility. I agree with you. There's certain ways how we can do things differently, but it should not be only one side. Somebody somewhere must be able to call us, and we must call each other and say, oh, I'm not happy with this and this. It cannot always just be that we say in chambers, you are not happy with each other's behavior, but there's no platform. It's so full. What can we do, all of us, to ease the record, to ensure that we get to those issues can be discussed. This parliament, since I came here, doesn't engage off record. I've not been called to a meeting to say, I'm not happy with this A, B, C, and D. I've done it to some people, to some ministers, some of you, to say that, can we not do it differently? So I definitely agree. All of us carry a responsibility. But it must not be a situation where the executive, this is how you must hold us accountable. So we can exchange views. People are elected here to do exactly what they are doing. So let's find a way to engage one another. We all have that responsibility. It's not one over the other. So
yes, okay, thank you, honorable members. We cannot have another discussion on that one, but I was trying to look for a rule that intends to assist the House to deal with that issue. But even without going to that rule, I know that it is the functions of the chief whip. That's why the rules provide for chief whips. And one of the responsibility of the chief whips, beside making sure that the MPs of that political party are orderly and assist the presiding officer, it's also to help in building consensus. So it is possible for a chief whip to approach the leader of government business, a chief whip to approach the chief whip of the ruling party, chief whip of the ruling party can also approach the chief whip. So we can look at that. Let's look at the rules and see what avenues are there for us to engage outside. Because as I have said, when we have this agenda, the public look at the agenda, and some people who decide to sit in front of a TV to listen to what is being said about an issue they are interested in. And when day in and day out, the issue is on the agenda and we don't get to it, they also get frustrated. Yeah. So, and yes, amongst the things we can talk about is how do we make sure that we go through our agenda? What are the things that we can sort out, you know? What am I unhappy about? What are the other platforms that are there for me to raise the issue? So those avenues are there. Yeah, so let's start maybe with the chief whip caucus or something like that. We can call it whatever, meetings of chief whips. Yes. Dako, now please let's proceed with the list. I think we are back now to Honorable Karonda. He has an oral question. I take it that there are no more written notices of questions. Honorable Karonda, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also stand to be guided before I get to my questions.
Yes, I would like to hear the gist, please.
Yeah. Before we get to that, I think there's an omission on our part when we started. I would, if of course with your indulgence, to just pay homage to Comrade Raz Shehama by just rising and observe a minute of silence, if that is permissible, of course.
Yes. So yes, indeed, we didn't think about it. He is a, yeah. Let's do it maybe at the end. Can we do that?
All right.
Yes, please. Yeah. Are you calling the honourable member to order? Is it a point of order, Honourable Thomas? Yes. Okay. There is a point of order, Honourable Karon.
Actually, it's not a point of order. Maybe it's a point of privilege. So maybe to in support with my brother there, but I think there is also Kauyeba, Junior Kauyeba, who passed on outside the country. Maybe must also be included.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so the honourable member, can you continue? Or that's all you want
to
do?
I wish to continue. One is to the Minister of Health. I understand there's a chronic shortage of, not chronic, an acute shortage of chronic medicines, especially for those of our people who have or suffered who are diabetic, as a result of the middlemen being taken out, which I think is a good move. But the question is, what is in place to ensure that our people do not get too adversely affected by the shortage? The second goes to the EPUPA employees, social grants, the move from EPUPA to Nampost. I understand that there are people who stand to lose their jobs. Has that loss been factored into this new arrangement? And if so, what is the arrangement now? The last question goes to the Prime Minister. The negotiations, I still have my time. To the Minister of Welfare, social grants. Is that Prime Minister? It's the minister from whoever administers this thing. You ought to know. But my last question goes to the Prime Minister. Honorable Prime Minister, the talks between government and the barbarians up in Germany, what is the status of that? The Namas, the Hereros, want to know what the status is of the talks and what government position is with regards to including the communities themselves in direct talks with the barbarians. Those are the questions.
Yes, thank you.
Very, very urgent. They go.
Yes, honorable member. Now, Honorable Minister of Health, would you like to respond?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Member, thank you for the question. I think some of it will be answered when I do the ministerial statement, but since you've posed it as an urgent oral question, I just wanted to clarify something because the public are watching. In your question, you said you believe that there is a shortage of, an acute shortage of chronic medication as a result of the removal of middlemen. I want to clarify that. That's very important for me to clarify. The current shortage of medication is not as a result of the removal of middlemen. When I took office, what was happening is that because we did not have long-term contracts in place, because of the fact that we had these tenders that were in court for the past plus minus 3-4 years, we didn't have a constant supply of drugs. That is what we inherited, and because of that, we then said, I think it was about over a month ago, when the article hit the papers that government runs out of medication, the first thing I was asked to do is to sign off for a purchase order with the executive director for emergency procurement of over $1 billion to middlemen. My first question was, how long will these drugs take to arrive, considering it is an emergency? I was told 4 to 5 months. That is why I said no, because it's not an emergency for taking 4 to 5 months. That is then when we decided to say we go straight to the manufacturers because we will cut prices and we will be able to get some of the drugs in a shorter period of time. So no, the shortage of medication currently, we are aware of it, but it's not as a result of us cutting out the middlemen. But I will come back with a ministerial statement. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. So let's wait for the ministerial statement. The second question was to the Right Honourable Prime Minister. Is that so? Does the Right Honourable Prime Minister wish to respond? Oh, there were 3.
Then the third question. Thank you very much for your question, Honourable Member. I've taken note. It's an important issue nationally, and it is an issue that we are seized with, and indulge me to come back to you with empirical update on where we are, as opposed to answering it as an oral question.
Very good. Ewa, so that's an answer. Thank you. What was the third question, Honorable Karonda?
The third question pertains to the move from EPUPA, the payment of the social grant,
okay,
to Nampost.
Yes, the minister just arrived of finance, and we don't know whether she heard the question. Yeah. Okay, Right Honourable Prime Minister, you may take your seat. So, Minister of Finance, Please arrive at your seat and let me know whether you heard the question and you are ready to respond. Oh, the minister didn't hear the question. Yes, you can repeat the question, please.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, we are told that Nampost will now be the one paying the social grants. EPUPA lost that contract. But the question really pertains to the employees, the more than 100 employees who stand to lose their jobs. What is the arrangement? Will they be taken over, seeing that Nampost would also have increased, employment absorptive capacity, given the portfolio that they have now? Or what is being arranged for those employees? Thank you.
Thank you. Does the Honourable Minister wish to respond?
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Thank you very much, Honourable, I almost said Karonda. Thank you so much. No, thank you very much. The question is very critical and really, really relevant. Ideally, what we encourage our service providers to do is to take care of employees of services that they are taking over. Of course, it will always depend on the one who is supposed to employ them. But principally, these are people who have been working in this field for more than many other years, if I can put it that way. So I believe whoever the new contractor, service provider will be, will give consideration to that, because number one, they are Namibians. Number two, they will be unemployed. So any person will first really give priority to that, to make sure that they capitalize on the skills and experience that those people might have acquired during that period. But like I have said, the last decision will be for the company that is taking over, but principally, I believe that would be considered if I were to answer in that manner. Thank you so much.
Very good, thank you very much. Now we proceed to... I would, okay, the rules does allow, but on the discretion of the presiding officer, I would like to express concern about the time that we spend on questions. And I would like really to appeal to the members that we proceed to the next item. Yeah? Yeah, you can ask the minister over a cup of tea. Yes, I recognize Honorable Muton. Yes, is it a point of order? Yes, Honorable Member, there is a point of order.
You did not yet move to the notice of motions.
Yes, we are moving to notices of motions because he did indicate that his case is on a motion. So thank you for reminding. Now notice of motions.
Oh, light addition.
Honorable Muton.
Okay. I hereby give notice that I hereby give notice that on Thursday. Speaker, am I protected?
Yes, you are protected, Honorable Muton.
Can we get silence?
Yes, Honorable
I
members.
want you to hear this one. I want you to hear, listen. Right. Thank you. I hereby give notice that on Thursday, the 11th of September, I shall move a motion that the session be extended until the order of the day has been completed. I further move that the Standing Committee on Rules and Orders discuss the following. Rule 14 of the Standing Rules and Orders make provision that the Assembly can determine the time of sitting. We are not making progress, with Parliament being as congested as it currently is. We have not addressed any order of the day since we have come back to Parliament after the recent recess. This issue has been addressed by both sides of the House. And if we do not start decluttering the process, we will never be able to pass any legislation. We need to work through all the questions that have accumulated. Some of these questions date back to the start of the 8th Parliament. If you count the questions,
Honorable Member, there is a Honorable members.
Please, Speaker. Let me just
Yeah, honorable members. Can you hear each other?
Let me just finish my motion. We want to be effective.
Honorable members, you see, I won't be able to get the House in order.
We want to work, Speaker. Please, let me just
Honorable members. Honorable members.
You're wasting time.
Yeah, honorable members, we can't have 5 people speaking at the same time. It is not possible for the presiding officer to make a ruling when 5 people. Now, honorable member, there is a point of order made. Let the presiding officer hear the point of order and decide whether to rule it out or not. Yeah. Yeah, honorable member, on what point are you rising?
Rule.
Privilege. I'm on the point of privilege. Honorable Speaker, the honorable member is completely out of order with all due respect. The very issue, as important as it is, that is not to be discussed in this August House. We have set rules for the operation of this Parliament, and that matter should be dealt with by the standing rules and orders.
What rule?
It can be brought to this House to come and discuss the amendment on the rule that the member is moving. That issue must still be handled first by the standing rules and orders before it comes here.
Okay, thank you. Now, Honorable Mouton, can you start over again? I want to hear what you are saying. I want to hear. No? Can the members allow me to hear what Honorable Mouton is saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
I hereby give notice that on Thursday, the 11th of September, I shall move a motion that the session be extended until the order of the day has been completed. I further move that the Standing Committee on Rules and Orders discuss the following. Rule 14 of the Standing Rules and Orders make provision that the Assembly can determine the time of sitting. We are not making progress, with Parliament being as congested as it currently is. We have not addressed any order of the day since we have come back to Parliament after the recent recess. The issue has been addressed by both sides of the House, and if we do not start decluttering the process, we will never be able to pass any legislation. We need to work through all the questions that have accumulated. Some of these questions date back to the start of the 8th Parliament. If you count the questions that certain members are recycling from last year, you can argue that some questions date back to the 7th Parliament. If we are able to clear the backlog, it will allow us to address more pressing and actual issues to keep our government accountable. Besides extending the session on Thursday, I move that the Committee on Standing Rules and Orders discuss the following suggestions to improve the effectiveness of Parliament. To implore the Speaker to please start our sessions on time. We always start 10 to 15 minutes late. Furthermore, can the Honourable Speaker please strictly apply the timer for each member as provided in Rule 85 of the Standing Rules and Orders. We have members raising on a point of privilege and then proceeding to provide an hour-long lecture. This does not help the House to function productively, and the Speaker is the only one that can control this. Furthermore, I suggest that we consider sitting on certain Fridays, like during the appropriation bill. until we are able to clear the backlog of motions and orders.
Yes.
I think all of us can agree that we do not want to be known as an inefficient parliament. Let's work together to streamline this process. I so move.
Yeah, honorable member, I didn't call you to table the motion. Yeah, honorable member, you have moved many things in that motion. Now, if you had only moved that we should extend the sitting hours until we exhaust the order of the day, that could have been a notice on its own. But now when you move that standing rules must consider a certain matter, that's another issue, and that one I rule out of order. So I think you need to amend your notice and focus on, have notices, different notices that are unrelated, separately. Yes, honorable member. So, but I agree with you. I agree with you. You didn't have to move a motion. I agree with you where you say that we must stick to the time that is allocated to the issues. I agree with you. That's part of the reason why we never get to the order of the day. We are always on routine. And when the presiding officer tries to regulate, sometimes the member feel that their right is being infringed upon. But I think the more people are raising the issue, the more it is becoming clear that we are all agreed that we need to do better in terms of how we spend the time. We can make important points and deal with as many issues as possible. So let us work together. The presiding officer is definitely ready to enforce the rules, but at the end of the day, that can only be achieved with the cooperation of everyone. When you have a situation where the presiding officer is ruling and everybody is booing and refusing and insisting on arguing, we are not going to make progress. Truly, we are wasting time. So, Honorable Klute, please reorganize your motion. Yeah, I cannot accept the notice the way that it is. Oh, sorry, not Honorable Klute, but Honorable Muton. Yeah, sorry, Honorable Muton. Yes, but we take note of that point on efficient use of our time. Yeah. Now, Honorable Kalangula.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I hereby give notice that on Wednesday, 17th September 2025, I shall move to debate on the conditions of employment of Namibian truck drivers. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, truck operators have been at the forefront of making sure that essential goods reach every home from all corners of the world. They spend many days and nights away from their homes, but often do not get the reward and respect suitable for their work they offer to our citizens. The truck industry in Namibia at present is alluring a review in the approach and to its operators from employers.
There is a point of order, Honorable Kalangula.
Just sit down. Remain there.
It's unparliamentary to tell a member to sit down.
Swallow your plate.
No, Honorable.
It's unparliamentary. Let's get to the point. Yeah.
Just as the Honorable, I think his intention, Maton. See, Honorable Speaker, I seek your indulgence for the guidance of the House. I am of expectation that the member is giving a notice. So what he is now doing is now moving into the motivation. So what he must do, Honorable Speaker, he must then move that he's going to give a notice on that day, on that element. Then on that day is what he's now doing, is what he's coming to do. Honorable Speaker, I just ask your indulgence to provide guidance in that aspect. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Honorable
Thank
Speaker.
you, honorable member. Please, when you give notice, you will have an opportunity to motivate. Can you please just focus on the notice of the
correct
of the motion you like to move?
With your permission, through the Speaker.
Yes, please just focus on the honorable members. Can we?
With your permission, through the Speaker.
Honorable member, can you please just give your notice?
With your permission, through the Speaker, I would also just like to be corrected, as we are correcting one another, of course, through the Speaker. The previous member here spoke for a lengthy period of time, but there was no interjection whatsoever. Here, a honorable minister comes because it is ministry. He comes and interjects. But nevertheless, Speaker, I would like to draw, perhaps since you indicated, rightfully so, on Rule 851, that gives timing. The timing of the questions is different from that of the motion. I don't understand why I should not be given the courtesy to speak as much as I can, and then I motivate further to give more context in the next time when I get to move. I don't understand how perhaps you can correct me through that. Because I seem to be in limbo here in respect of the point of order that was raised. Honorable Speaker.
Yes. Honorable member, I know that you are always very cooperative, and I don't really want to make you feel that you are not being, granted the consideration that is due to you because of that. But as a matter of principle, the way that the proceedings are organized in the House, the members are given an opportunity to give a notice, and then they are given an opportunity to motivate. I know that for members who are new, and you are not the first one, it may not have happened to the honorable member you are referring to today, but I recall another member trying to do what you did, and I corrected the member, and the member just took the correction to say that when you give notice, you just give notice. You can make references, but very briefly to contextualize, but you will have an opportunity during the motivation to say everything that you think needs to be said within the time that is allocated. So can you just try to do that?
Honorable Speaker, I tend to disagree, with all due respect, because I'm not the first. Since we started from recess, my motion is 2 pages. It's not that long. We had members who were motivating their motions that are 6 pages long. 10 pages.
And you are saying motivating.
If I can be given the courtesy, Speaker, if I may.
No, honorable member,
at least
you cannot give a notice of a motion using a text of 2 pages. It's not possible.
On which rule is that, Speaker? Honorable Speaker.
When you are moving,
that, Honorable Speaker, if you can just enlighten.
You see, honorable member, you see that Rule 85 under motion, it's a mover gets 15 minutes, but it's when you are motivating. It's not when you are giving notice. So there are 2 here. You are only giving notice, and you can use much of what you have to motivate your motion when it comes to motivation.
Speaker, Honorable Speaker, correction. On that note, I would like to perhaps be given the courtesy to make it shorter.
Okay.
If you agree on that.
Yes, please.
Just so we can spare the moment of time as well, so we can get to the agenda.
Yes, please.
I would like to give that. But we should actually give the rules.
Honorable members, I'm now going to give 1 minute for each point of order so that we can get to the point really. Yes, you have the floor, Honorable Ampanda.
Speaker, a motivation is not yet available. We don't even know what the motivation is going to be about. So we are not in a position to determine whether what the person is saying is a motivation.
Now, on what point are you raising, Honorable Member? Huh?
So on the basis of that,
no, on what point now are you raising? Because we were on notices of motions.
Point 85, Rule 85, Speaker.
Which is?
Rule 85.
Which is what?
So I'm trying to help. Speaker, you always think that I'm going to go south.
No, Rule 85, it sets out the time limit.
Yes.
No, we can't discuss the time limits. Then you are out of order. I can rule you out of order on that basis.
Speaker, I'm raising on point of privilege. And when you raise on point of privilege, you indicate what rule I'm standing on. And the rule I'm standing on is 85. I'm trying to assist you and say, Speaker, now the rule says that a mover has 15 minutes. But we are now having an interpretation that, oh, that is when you are motivating.
Yeah, it is.
No, wait. But the rule doesn't say when you are motivating or when you are giving a notice.
It is.
The rule just says 15 minutes. Perhaps what we need to be able to do, because you are given responsibility so that as long as it's exercised not in an abusive manner, that can we make a decision? Because the rule doesn't say that is for motivation. Can you then also make a decision and say, instead of just deciding out of the blue that that's for motivation, then you can say, okay, for notices, because it's an instance in the rule make provision for instances that are not provided for. Because strictly apply the rules, it means 15 minutes. Today, it means 15 minutes when they are motivating. Okay. But you could also then say, in the gray area that we are operating in, can we not say, in the gray area that we are operating in, can we not agree to interpret the 15 minutes as for motivation, so that the notice it doesn't clearly say as such, so that the notice can be 5 minutes, so to say. Because you are the only one with the key.
Yes, I am going to do that. May you please just take a seat and I will do that. I will do the ruling. Yeah, honorable member. You see, the rule 85, yeah, honorable member.
Aid, not only your aid as a speaker, but the aid of the House. I think Rule 35 that Honorable Mpanda is referring to is, 85, that is referring to simply prescribe the time. But the rule make a very clear distinction in terms of between giving the notice for the motion as well as moving for the motion. And that is found clearly under Rule 123, sub Rule 1A. So that distinction is clearly there. That was the first point. The 123, sub Rule 1A. No, it doesn't talk about time, but that one gives a distinction between moving for the motion as well as giving the notice for the motion. So a person cannot get into moving the motion without giving the notice. What is happening today?
Yes, proceed, honorable member. No, honorable member, just proceed. You are out of order, honorable member.
Yeah, so the last time I checked, Honorable Nashinge, he knows how to read, and I have assisted him by referring him to the rule. So,
yes, honorable member, just speak through the chair.
Honorable Speaker, that rule is very clear. A person cannot get into moving the motion if he has not given the notice. We need to assist one another, and we don't have to be arrogant out of ignorance.
Very good, very good.
So now, when one has given the notice, the day that you are motivating, you are then moving. So those verbs are very clear. Okay. The second point that I want to stand on, Honorable Speaker, is on the point of privilege. And I want to ask, when do we evoke, or when do you as a speaker, or when does Rule 125 come into force? I just want assistance so that I don't become unruly, or become interrupters.
125.
Because I'm very
Which
ordered. Rule 125. When does it come?
A motion or amendment not seconded lapses.
Yes. When does it come into motion? Is it at the point of giving the notice, or is it at the point of moving? I'm asking because I'm new, and I just want to know so that next time that I act in terms of the rules.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Now, I think I would want first, now I have had two people speak on the same thing, and I'm not going to have a third person until I have made the ruling. First on the issue of motion, moving a motion, and giving notice of a motion. And I was going to say exactly what Honorable Emmanuel there indicated, to say that Rule 85 talks about a mover, and therefore talking about moving a motion. When you are moving a motion is when you are motivating it. When you are giving a notice, you are not moving a motion. So these 15 minutes that are allocated here are for motivating a motion. And it is indicated here, as was cited by Honorable Emmanuel, that you give a notice upon which you then move when you are called upon to do so. So I think we have exhausted that part to say really that when now it comes to motivating a motion, a member has up to 15 minutes, because that's also another point I have to emphasize. When they say 15 minutes, it doesn't mean at least. It means up to. You may not exceed 15 minutes. If we agree to be brief because we want to go through the agenda, or you can actually make your point within 10 minutes, you can make your motivation in 10 minutes. So that is the first one. I think the second one was when 125 okay, yeah, time now, it is the honorable, there is no time allocated, it's the discretion of the presiding officer. And really to say that 2 pages to give a notice, it has never been done. Yeah, no, it is too long. Even the people whom I had called to order never had up to 2 pages. But the honorable member is new. And like I said, really, he does not come across like he's deliberately trying to violate the rules. And I appreciate that very much. But I'm just saying, the honorable member can either summarize the notice, or if it's difficult for him to do that, he can go and reformulate the notice. And then come with a notice that is brief. No, I'm not going to give any floor on that issue anymore. I must finish ruling, honorable members. And then we come to a motion or amendment not seconded lapsing forthwith. The interpretation is that at the time that a member is called upon, when we come now to the motivation, and the member is asked, are you ready now to move? At that point, there must be a secondment. If there is no secondment, that is when it lapses, because it cannot be seconded or objected and moving together like those motions that can be moved without a notice. Yeah, now having said that, honorable members, I would like to ask Honorable Karangura, would you like to summarize your notice, or would you like to review it and shorten it?
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Am I protected?
Yes, please.
Yeah, this is also helping Parliament.
Yes, please,
so if we
you
can
are
engage
protected,
just
honorable
through this.
member.
I appreciate the discussion having here, but it also interests me that we are giving a point of order more time than the motions. But on that note, I will summarize, and I'll give it short, but I hope we can learn from this, also to extend the courtesy to all the members.
No, actually, to keep to the time, all of
Absolutely.
us, because I appreciate the fact that more and more members are raising that. Let's just go.
Absolutely.
Let's try to keep the time.
And to say that it hasn't been done before, we've been doing it ever since we started.
No. Honorable member, just get to the notice.
I'll get to the notice, Speaker, as you preside. I hereby give notice that on Wednesday, 17th September 2025, I shall move to debate on the conditions of employment of Namibian truck drivers. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Member, truck operators has been at the forefront on making sure that essential goods reach every home from all corners of the world. They spend many days and nights away from their homes and often do not get the reward and respect suitable for the work they offer to our citizens. It is therefore against this background that with high regard I move that this Honorable August House debate on the agency to further get our truck operators motivated with better conditions of employment, and that this matter get referred to the relevant Parliamentary Standing Committee. I so move, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. You may now table the motion. You may now table the notice, yes. Very good. Thank you, Honourable Kalangula. I now recognize Honourable Thomas.
Thank you very much. Honourable Speaker, honourable members, on Thursday, September 2025, I shall lay on the table that this August House to discuss, debate, and recommend Nampost be approved as a banking institution in Namibia, since it's now being trusted to handle all the banking administration of the social grant throughout Namibia. The public are concerned about the banking system, which has subjected to external factors for decades for now. While Namibia was helplessly and does very little about it, our country banking system and well-being of our people cannot be improved while our money continues to be controlled by external banking factors. I so move.
Yes, thank you. The Honourable Member may now table the notice, please. Oh, sorry. Yeah, now I call upon Honourable Lukato. Honourable Lukato, you please have the floor.
Honourable Speaker, members of Parliament, on 11 September, that's Thursday, I shall move that the Assembly discuss and debate the motion of the amendment of the Traditional Authority Act of 2005, that the Chairman of the Traditional Authority has continuously led the House. Let me remind you, please. Okay, thank you. That the Chairman of the Traditional Authority has continuously led the House when other members are also capable of chairing the session. Namibia is a democracy, cannot attain a situation where one traditional leader can continue leading the House like any monarch country. It is true that it is
Yeah, Honourable Lukato, there is a point of order.
We don't need to every time stand up for point of order. The principle is laid upon, and the Speaker have ruled on the same principle. So when the member violates the same principle, I think he must just be guided to go to move a notice. So the notice must move what you want to move on that day. You want to move a notice to discuss that. Then that day what you are now saying is what must move. So I move from a Speaker that you guide the member and to do exactly what Honorable Karangula was guided to do. Then we are going to save exactly the same time we are saying we need to extend time to send a particular day. Honorable Speaker, I move in that fashion. that the member is out of order.
Yes. Honorable member. Yeah.
The speaker, not him.
Yes, honorable member, you are advised to focus on the motion that you would like to give notice of moving. So if you are going to make, I don't know actually how long is your text, but I just want to highlight that point. And to call upon all the other MPs that are on the line. Yeah, I have Honorable Lutuhezi, Honorable Achipara, Honorable Ampanda, Honorable Kandorodo, to try and look at their notices already to make sure that they are summarized. Yeah, Honorable, no, that's a lot, Honorable Lucato.
Yes, thank you very much for the floor, Honorable Speaker. As I have already stated, and whether constitutional good governance principles and being upheld within the traditional authorities, I therefore move that this matter be referred to the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Human Resources and the Community Development for inquiry, and that report be tabled before this House in due course. Honorable Speaker, I so move.
Thank you, Honorable Lucato. You may now table the notice. Thank you. I now call upon Honorable Achipara Modestus. Huh? I see. Oh, Honorable Lutuhezi. Yes, you have the floor, please.
Yes.
Oh,
Thank
Shadow
you for
Gender
the floor,
Minister.
Honorable Speaker. I hereby give notice that on the 16th of September 2025, I shall move that this Honorable House discuss and come up with recommendation regarding the high suicide prevalence in Namibia. Sadly, Namibia currently holds the highest suicide rate in Africa. Men account for the overwhelming majority of these cases, with particularly alarming trend among those aged between 20 and 50 years, especially in rural and underserved areas. Contributing factors include limited access to mental health services, social and economic hardships, substance abuse, and the persistent stigma surrounding mental health, especially amongst men. Suicide is a national crisis affecting not only men, but also the youth and the other vulnerable groups across all regions of the country. The impacts on family and communities are far-reaching and long-lasting. I so submit.
Yes.
What is too long?
Yes. Yes. The honourable member may please table the notice. Yes, thank you, Honorable Member. I now recognize Honorable Achipara.
Honorable Speaker, I give notice that on Tuesday, 16 September 2025, I shall move that this Assembly debates and discuss the current state of the NTA apprenticeship program under the Work Integrated Learning, which has not yet fully achieved its intended objectives of attracting unemployed youth and securing meaningful industry participation, and that upon adoption, the matter be referred to the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Education, Innovation, Sport and Culture for thorough inquiry and recommendations. With that, I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Achipara. Yes, Honorable Achipara, before you table, I think the Honorable member said upon adoption, maybe upon conclusion, you know, when we have discussed and then we refer, because we can't adopt and refer, yeah, just that part. upon the debate in the House, it's referred to. And then please, Honorable Member, you may table the notice after that. The Honorable Member would first table before we proceed to the next member who would give notice. Thank you. I now recognize Honorable Ampanda. Honorable Ampanda, no, you must give notice there. You can't table. No. Yes, the rules require you to indicate the notice that you are giving, Honorable Member. Honorable members should not intimidate Honorable Ampanda.
Yes. Arguing that there are 900 meters between Dama East and Dama South is to dwell in trivialities. Are there 14 classrooms at Dama South to accommodate 500 learners? I schooled at Ipumbu Senior Secondary School, and the distance between Ipumbu and Oshakati is not even 900 meters, it's less than 20 meters. The distance between Rundu Junior Primary School and Rundu Senior Primary School is only a matter of centimeters. Only 20 meters separate Rundu Junior Primary School and Bambi Primary
Honorable,
School.
That one now is a motivation.
No.
It is.
That's why I wanted just to give it.
No, but we are not allowed by the rules. You are supposed to say, maybe I give notice that on this day we discuss this Dama, whatever.
Yes, that's what I'm going to say.
But you don't say what you are saying now, you are motivating. Yeah. So you can just say, I give notice that on this day we discuss this. Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah. Just summarize.
Okay. I hereby give notice that in the circumstances, the motion is deferred to tomorrow.
Which motion now? Oh, you are going to reformulate it. Okay. No, that's a better approach so that you can properly do it. And now, Then, honorable members, we now proceed to... Yes, Honorable Ampanda.
The Minister of Home Affairs. I maybe just give her a chance to withdraw so that I don't have to say what she said. She would just say, I withdraw. Then I don't have to say it.
Yes. Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, did you say something? She's saying she didn't say anything. She's saying that, She's saying she didn't say anything, so I didn't hear, unfortunately. I was very happily moving on to the next item on the agenda.
Big discussion. In order for us to work together, in the spirit of us working together, let's just ask Honorable Ipubu to withdraw. I know she's going to withdraw, so that I don't have to prolong the discussion.
Yes. Yeah, Honorable Ampanda, the challenge is this, that if Honorable Ipumbu agrees, if she knows she said something and she agrees to withdraw, then all of us will be assisted. But if the chair did not hear what the member said, I would not be able to say withdraw because I don't know what I'm telling her to withdraw. I didn't hear it. So that's really the dilemma. Okay. Can the honorable member paraphrase instead of quote? Can you paraphrase and just to help us to understand? No, in English, the official language is English. You need translation to speak in indigenous. Yeah. So you can say she said a case word.
You see my skin already is shivering. It's a very bad word, but it's fine.
Okay. So it's fine, at least that's very good. Sometimes it's also, magnanimous to do that. Yeah. Okay, so now we proceed to the next item, which is a ministerial statement. Ministerial statements. Any ministerial statements? Honorable Minister of Health. Yes.
I'll shorten it.
Take your time.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members, good afternoon. I rise to give a ministerial statement regarding the current status of pharmaceutical and clinical supplies in Namibia. I will try to be as short as possible. I rise to provide a crucial update on the actions that the Ministry of Health and Social Services has taken in addressing the adequacy of pharmaceutical and clinical supplies in the country. It is important to realize that alongside a robust healthcare system, as well as a skilled healthcare workforce, the third important and crucial aspect of any healthcare system is the pharmaceuticals and clinical supplies, without which a healthcare system is fragmented. Our national goals to secure a reliable and a robust source of essential medicines and medical supplies is set out in our National Health and Policy Framework, as well as the strategic plan of the Ministry of Health and Social Services. With that said, Honourable Speaker, the Ministry currently, for the financial year 2025-2026, the Ministry spending on pharmaceuticals and clinical supplies based on what was budgeted was over $1 billion Namibian appropriated to pharmaceuticals and clinical supplies procurement for this financial year, a figure that, mind you, has been increasing over the past few years, showing the commitment or the attempt to ensure stabilized pharmaceutical and clinical supplies. However, despite the significant investment, as we are all aware, we have faced severe challenges in recent years regarding the procurement of pharmaceuticals and clinical supplies, which has resulted in recurrent stockouts. For the past 2 financial years, the service level at the central medical stores, otherwise known as CMS, has been less than 57%, falling severely short of the required target, which is 80%. This is largely due to our investigation point that, number 1, a lack of long-term procurement contracts, number 2, global supply chain disruptions, number 3, an increased demand for pharmaceuticals, number 4, changing disease patterns, and then number 5, limited storage as well as warehouse capabilities. Honourable Speaker, these challenges have a tangible impact on the nation, on everyday life. We highlight very importantly that we are aware that, particularly for patients on chronic medications such as diabetic patients, patients with high blood pressure, patients that have HIV and others, these disruptions have much more severe consequences and impacts on their health, as well as morbidity and mortality. In addition to recurrent stockouts, we have encountered challenges related to inefficient and bureaucratic procurement systems, a lack of accountability within the supply chain, substandard storage facilities, and deficiencies in medicine inventory management systems at all levels. An inadequate security and risk management related to the stock of essential medicines and clinical supplies across the supply chain. These issues have further compounded the problem and they've hindered the ability to have a reliable, consistent supply of medicines and essential supplies. Honourable Speaker, allow me to build upon the 100-day report of Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, which was delivered in July 2025, where she highlighted in that report and gave an update to the nation regarding the progress to delivering on the Namibian government's commitment to developing a special vehicle for procurement to address shortages of essential medicines. In line with this commitment, the Ministry of Health and Social Services has then decided to take decisive action, and I wish to update us on the pharmaceutical stock outs as well as interventions. Accordingly, and in line with our commitment to transparency and accountability, I wish to update the nation on the immediate interventions as well as the long-term reforms that are being implemented to ensure that stockouts are a thing of the past and to secure the supply of essential medicines and clinical supplies. On the 13th of August 2025, the Ministry of Health and Social Services activated emergency procurement protocols in response to a widespread shortage of essential medicines. These actions were aimed to restore long-term stock levels for about 75% of our key pharmaceuticals. This situation demanded immediate action, to which we responded swiftly. With that said, the Ministry is now procuring directly from international manufacturers and wholesalers under the provisions of the Public Procurement Act 15 of 2015 and the regulatory exemptions provided for by the Ministry of Finance. This approach was aimed at saving time and money while securing large quantities of urgently needed supplies. By going directly to the source, we can ensure that we are obtaining the best possible prices, as well as for the future, we can be informed when being priced as to whether these prices are inflated or not. With that said, Honourable Speaker, I would like to, I'm pleased to report the Ministry's efforts to procure directly from international manufacturers and wholesalers are proving fruitful. After only phase 1, we engaged with 41 pre-qualified manufacturers and wholesalers, receiving offers for hundreds of essential medicines and clinical supplies. We have evaluated the offers made in phase 1 and anticipate significant cost savings and improved supply security. These savings that were announced during the press release yesterday, I wish to highlight, are the minimum cost savings based on the absolute minimum savings for what we have now procured. In relative terms, these offers have generated savings of approximately $221,494,485 Namibian dollars and 81 cents. Compared to the weighted average intermediary prices, if compared to the maximum benchmark often used in intermediary-led emergency procurement, the cost savings are significantly higher. I wish to take this opportunity to highlight that the Ministry of Health and Social Services is not against middlemen. The Ministry of Health and Social Services only wishes to put on record that during this process, we were able to identify that at some points, middlemen were charging up to 400, 500% markup. And so the issue is not with middlemen. The issue is with ensuring that there is efficiency and ensuring that we run an efficient system. Therefore, Honourable Speaker, I'm not sure how much time I have left, but drawing to conclusion, a key lesson from the past procurement experience is the importance of long-term contracts with manufacturers. Currently, the Ministry has no consistent long-term supply of arrangements or did not have a long-term supply in place for many critical items. However, the Central Procurement Board of Namibia, as you might be aware, is now finalizing the 2-year contracts for general pharmaceuticals that were awarded prior to my tenure. In other words, the absence of long-term contracts for pharmaceutical products, which significantly contributed to the challenges we have faced in maintaining a consistent supply, is now being resolved. Prior to the long-term agreements, the Ministry had to rely on piecemeal emergency procurement, which offered neither price predictability nor guaranteed availability. This situation has now changed for the better. The Ministry is now actively working to stabilize national stock levels, after which we will transition towards a structured supply planning model anchored by long-term contracts. As we speak, the team has already forecasted what our pharmaceutical and clinical needs will be for year 1, year 2, and year 3, taking us up 3 years from now. This shift will result in stable supply, reduced cost, as well as improved efficiency across the health system. By establishing long-term partnerships with manufacturers, we can ensure a reliable supply of essential medicines at predictable prices, ultimately benefiting our patients and the health system as a whole. Finally, Honourable Speaker, with regards to warehouse and supply chain reform, in addition to procurement challenges, the Ministry is addressing long-standing efficiencies within the pharmaceutical warehouse and distribution system. Our current warehouse infrastructure is fragmented and outdated, and many have used this as an opportunity for theft. The fragmentation of storage across multiple locations in Windhoek and beyond has created serious inefficiencies, exposing the supply chain to increased risk related to stock management, stock loss, and transport vulnerabilities. The Ministry has begun the implementation of both these short-term and long-term solutions to consolidate and expand our warehouse capacity under one secure, access-controlled facility in order to eliminate inefficiencies, improve accountability, and ensure quicker receipt and distribution of critical supplies to health facilities across the country. I wish to highlight that although we did not go in detail with this part during the press release, there are numerous cases that are currently being investigated of theft of medication that has been stolen from central medical stores and others. And with that said, I wish to highlight that the Ministry of Health and Social Services will in the coming weeks begin to publish blacklisted companies and entities that we will no longer work with going forward. This move aligns with the recommendations from the Inspector General's 2024 security assessment and directly supports the Ministry's broader strategy to modernize Namibia's public health supply chain system. With that said, we are working to implement track and trace barcode systems to monitor the movement of medicines from the point of central storage to the patient, electronic dispensing tools to improve accuracy as well as efficiency, and also to alert us long before medication has run out. Honourable Speaker, in conclusion, these reforms are part of a broader strategy to ensure reliable, secure and cost-effective pharmaceutical supply systems for Namibia. We understand the public's concern regarding the recent shortages. We share that concern deeply. These challenges are not new, but what is new is the urgency, the clarity and the transparency with which we are now tackling them. Direct engagement with accredited global manufacturers, consolidation of warehousing, investment in integrated information systems, and the transition to long-term contracts are part of the strategic shift that the Ministry is now undertaking. The Ministry has also taken bold steps to ensure improved oversight, accountability, as well as transparency in the supply chain. We have implemented several accountability and efficiency measures, such as mentioned, debarring suppliers from non-performance or misrepresentation, which we will provide back to this House details once the investigations are concluded. I wish to put on record as I conclude, the Ministry will not tolerate suppliers who fail to meet their contractual obligations, and we will take decisive action to hold them accountable. In conclusion, as mentioned, we understand the concerns of the Namibian people regarding the need for sustainable and predictable supply of medicines, as well as the impact that this has on the people. I want to assure you that we are listening and we are taking action. We acknowledge the challenges, but we will not be deterred as we challenge and we accept these challenges head on with a determination to resolve the health sector to where it ought to be. Thank you.
I would like to invite questions, if there are any, for clarification on the statement that was made by the Minister of Health. Any? Honorable Ampanda.
Yeah, so firstly, thank you very much, Minister. We are very happy. We are proud of you. Just take care of yourself, be very careful. Yeah, so I just want you to clarify two things. I said she must take care of herself, shouldn't she? I just want you to clarify the framework of emergency. Because yes, this direct procurement with manufacturers, and so that we don't repeat the same mistakes. Yes, we are looking forward to see those people who are blacklisted, but we should equally also get the name of those manufacturers. Yeah, the name of manufacturers that we are buying from. We can't be buying from a manufacturer, maybe that manufacturer is funding Israel to bomb others with our money. So it's important that we also need to know who those ones are, who these suppliers are. If you don't have the list that is available, you can always make the list available, because we need to know. The same way we are doing with the local ones, we must also do it international. We need to know where are they, who are they, what country are they, what is the diversity of our risk as far as medicine is concerned. That's specific. But last one is we saw, and I invite you to really see the last year's audit report of the Ministry of Health and Social Services. You will find shocking things there. Envelopes, just envelope paper, was procured on an emergency basis. We don't know who dies because there's an envelope. Yeah, so it is it's good, but check that audit report and see, so that you're also able to see where those gaps are. We hope that, in conclusion, you're also dealing with NMRC, Yeah, those institutions are quite very important because these things of a minister or ED procuring, I don't see it happening after 6 years or so. We also need long-term frameworks of predictability so that you don't have to be writing directly to all those things. So we hope that you are already doing that, because if you are not, it's going to create a bit of a problem, because that permanent framework, not just this intervention. Other than that, when you do good, we'll be here to applaud you. But remember also, when Jacob Zuma was a deputy president of South Africa, he went to directly procure arms in France. That's how he lost his job, because of that involvement in those direct procurement. So, the long term, yeah, is what, Speaker? No, Jacob Zuma, there's a corruption case that is in court. That's what is happening, because he went to directly procure. That's how he was removed by Thabo Mbeki. I'm concluding, Speaker, so that I don't annoy you. So yes. So what? No, the point, the parallel, Speaker, is this. You must also be this involvement of politicians in procurement can also create a problem. So that's why I'm advising, do it now, while we are putting up the framework, but we will be more happy to have a permanent framework, a permanent solution that politicians and executives at that level do not need to get involved. So that CMS can also go and do directly to manufacturers. So that MMC can also list medicine directly from those people. That's all I'm saying. But other than that, I hope you clarify this.
That when we are having items that are having time limits, you set the clock so that the members are also guided and they know. Yeah, no, that is 17 hours, 27 minutes. It doesn't count the time of the person who is on the floor. So now I'm constrained because I don't know who is over 3 minutes. Yeah, so please, the honorable members are given a maximum of 3 minutes to seek clarifications. Ne? Yeah, I know that this is an interesting thing, but the Honorable Kandorodu, I see Minister of MIRT want to speak, Minister of Works, they want to make a statement, so I will come to them after we are done with this. Honorable Kandorodu.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Minister, for your statement on the issue of emergency direct procurement from the manufacturers. What I want to know is who is doing the selection of those manufacturers? Is there a committee? And are they not connected? And also the selection of the products. Because there might be a possibility that your staff member within the ministry, they will jump companies and leave some products to local third person to supply, and then affect other companies they don't have a relationship with, those products to be procured from the manufacturers. So I just wanted us to tell us the whole scope. How did you arrive to selecting those? And also the issue of due diligence, the credibility of those manufacturers, the World Health Organization, where they are these pharmaceutical products accredited, or you are getting, because there are a lot of manufacturers out there, even in China, even in India, that have been done behind the main bedroom. So they are doing quite a number of productions there. So I just wanted for you to clarify the issue of the due diligence. I so submit.
Thank you. I recognize Honorable Karonda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I have one quick question. Honorable Minister, thank you for your statement. I've listened with care, but I seem to have missed one important thing. Is there any plan for Namibia to be in a position to produce or manufacture her own pharmaceuticals as a long-term solution to this problem? Are we going to rely on other people always, or? Yeah.
Thank you. Honorable Ipumbo, you don't have your light on. Honorable Lucato. Honorable Lucia Ipumbo. Okay, are you the one that was asking for the floor to ask a question? Oh, that's for a statement. Okay, so Honorable Lucato.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me also thank my relative sister, Honorable Minister of Health. Yeah, let me say, commend you for the good report there. I got only one single question. You know your ministry is one of the important ministry in Namibia to take care of the patients. So now there is a program of feeding the patients. Yeah, so that program, let me say, I only observed it 5 years or 10 years back in the Central Hospital, the feeding program where the patients, those from outside, not those who are admitted. Yeah, yes. So the feeding, let me say, to feed patients, those who are coming to get, let me say, to have medications, those sick people, those who are coming to the hospitals. So do you have that program in place? Or it's not there? Because I traveled the whole country, I didn't see that program going on. I only observed one in Central Hospital. Thank you so much, Honorable.
Very good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. I now recognize Honorable Nashinge.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much, Minister. Job well done. Thank you for the new culture of listening to one another. I think our position has been clear that the middleman story should go, and this we have our support. But I just wanted to find out, now that we found out that there were a lot of things that were happening, inflation of the prices and so on, what is going to happen? Because I do believe that these people are known. Are we just going to say, oh, comrades, things happened, we are moving forward, or we are going to make sure that those that have stolen from taxpayers and they funded the activities, viva viva, are going to be punished? That I'm hoping that you are going to give us the way forward, an indication on the way forward. The other issue is, how prepared are we? The issues of distribution, the issues of supply chain, what do we have in place? Will you mind sharing with this House at a later stage what do we have in place, how prepared we are, and how do we make sure that this process is cemented and we are not going to have funny stuff coming in? Also the team that is going to be responsible, what system are we going to have in place to make sure that at the end of the day there is no inflated prices again directly from your team to between your team and the main supplier, maybe with a 20% inflation or 600, since we now had 400%. The other thing I just wanted to, I know I had a chat with you, but it is also important, the feeding program within the ministry in the hospitals. I think that you should also remove the dear comrades from this tendering process. The ministry have capacity, we have people with capacity. Let us buy food directly from the producers so that we feed our people accordingly, we are not giving them this dark sauce that we have been seeing and burnout meat. I think that as you finalize this process, you should also take that into consideration so that our patients are not fed with garbage. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Honorable. I think that was the last Honorable member who asked for the floor. I now, Honorable, Lutuhezi.
Thank you, Speaker. Let me thank the Minister. Those are good intentions and interventions. And I need clarity here because when you spoke prior, you said, when you were talking about the middlemen, you said this is a system that we inherited. I want to be sure, to be corrected here. Who did you inherit it from? Is it from apartheid? Is it from what? Because I did not see any change of government lately. Thank you very much.
Yes, Honorable Haikola.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Minister. I took note of the cost savings and procurement figures. Well done. But the burning issue here, or maybe if I have missed it in the Ministerial statement, when is the Ministry going to provide medication? When are the hospitals going to receive this medication? When? Because we are talking about a sick child that is being sent home each and every time. No, your parents must go to pharmacy. And many parents, the fathers, the mothers, single fathers, cannot afford. When exactly? Is it in 3 months, 4 months? It's very important you please clarify that so that the public can be made aware and probably prepare themselves. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that exhausts the list now. The Honorable Minister of Health has the floor to respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Members, for the question. Because of time, I will very quickly try to get through all of them. So I'll start firstly with the name of the manufacturers. That will definitely that can be provided. That's not a problem. We've engaged with quite a list of manufacturers, so that will be provided, not a problem. The audit report, and the answer to that is unfortunately yes, I have been privy to it, and yes, there are some shocking elements within it, and yes, we are addressing these to ensure that history does not repeat itself. Then you mentioned regarding NMRC, there was a quick pass over. Yes, we are working to resolve that, and we will provide feedback to this House once that process has been concluded. Then another comment by the Honourable Member was regarding ensuring that although this is a good solution for now, I am not involved long term. So I wish to just, and I think this might answer some of the questions as well that were posed. It's interesting because, you know, sometimes when information leaks, unfortunately, it doesn't provide the whole story. But with that said, when the email leaked, so it was not a lie, it is true, I did approach manufacturers, but the reason for that was because of the urgency. We felt that the response might be a bit quicker when they see it is from the Minister, and rightfully so. We did encounter numerous manufacturers that were much more willing to assist urgently because they understood the importance. But I wish to highlight that the email also that was leaked probably didn't contain all the details. At the end of the email, we noted that firstly there were plus minus 7-8 attachments to the email. And we noted that the response to the email must be replied to all. You will see when that email leaked that it looked like I had emailed myself because the rest would be CC'd. And the importance of that was so that when they respond, they reply to all. My Director of Pharmaceuticals got it, the ED got it, the rest of the team as well as our registrar immediately got it. And I also just wish to put on record that the role of my office was merely to initiate contact. I also just wish to highlight, because of the position, the question is more from a strategic perspective to get the ball rolling and then to leave the team to run with it. So regarding the actual communication with manufacturers, I'm not involved with that. The executive director, the director of pharmaceuticals, the registrar are heavily involved with that. I was looking at my emails. We keep getting literally hundreds, if not more, of emails from manufacturers communicating daily with the director, with the registrar. So that I trust answers that batch of question. With regards to the selection of manufacturers, there was no selection. And I wish to say this because one of the first things the Attorney General mentioned was that we do not want to be seen to be picking and choosing. And so all the selection was based on was, number one, are you registered? Number two, do you meet GMP of WHO? Are you EU certified? And very importantly for Namibia, are you sourcing or are you providing medication in a Zazibona state? And I mentioned it in the press release that ideally, not during the answer session, but I'll bring another ministerial statement to just inform us a little bit about how the registration of medication works and how sometimes a drug might not be registered in Namibia, but if it is registered in another Zazibona state, such as Zambia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, you name it, or is WHO GMP certified or EU certified, the minister has the right to give a Section 45, or in other cases, NMRC might give a Section 27, which is compassionate clearance. And so to answer your question, there was no nitpicking. We did look at the pool to say, firstly, we don't want to engage with anybody that does not even meet these requirements. And so that was the selection criteria. But thereafter, we send out emails, and that is why you will note that the email that was sent out was very generic. We send out emails, and whoever responds was then where we were able to take from that pool and say, okay, based on these attachments, do you even meet the qualifications? If not, they were then excluded. With that said, you asked about due diligence accreditation. I partially answered that, but let me state that once the manufacturer responds, the next phase, like I said, my office has stepped away completely. We have no communication with manufacturers. However, the next stage that then happens is once they have made their offers. Mind you, we were very careful about doing things without any sort of guideline or framework. So even within that email, we noted in the attachments that there was a due date. So there was a due date. The tender process that process still did have to close so that we can assess everything that we have received in a fair manner. After that due date closed, the clinical supplies due date then closed in September. That allowed us to have a pool. The procurement team still sat with these. Last weekend, the procurement team sat until late into Saturday and Sunday evaluating the bids. And even with manufacturers, we still sat and we said, yes, this one is offering an ARV for 100 million. They're both certified, but let me say another company from SA is offering it for 80 million. And so the procurement team sat, they assessed, and they made the recommendations. Not myself, not the executive director, not the registrar, but the procurement team as a normal process. Because it is an emergency, we had to ask them to work through the night. And so due diligence was done. After then the procurement committee sat, it then went back to NMRC for them to finalize and assess and ensure that the documentation did meet. It was a very tedious process, but they did come to the floor, did get it done, and even in that process, there was some where we had to say we are unable to proceed because you do not meet these requirements for due diligence. Then a question came up regarding manufacturing our own. That is definitely in the pipeline. I took it to cabinet, I believe it was in my first month of taking office. It was approved, we were given the opportunity to carry it out. However, what we were now looking at is the time period in when we will float the expression of interest. I wish to go on record that we've received so much interest from individual companies and some international from other companies saying they want to establish a plant. Because of the fact that we don't want to seem like we were being subjective, we then went up and said, all right, fine, we would need to draw up guidelines for an expression of interest which should be floated within the next few days or the next few weeks. But that should be finalized now within September. We met with the Deputy Prime Minister again yesterday to discuss how we wanted to move it from a triple P to a joint venture and how we will be floating that expression of interest. So yes, it is important for us to start manufacturing our own. And as I continue to say, it doesn't have to start with ARVs. We can start with simple things like gloves and, Panado and cough syrup. And that's how we start and get our own process going. With that said, you mentioned, there was a question regarding what has happened to those that have inflated prices. Interesting enough, one of the journalists asked the same question yesterday. I will answer this question, and we are open to discussions later on, is to say that we've been very careful about probing sometimes in things that happen before our appointment. It makes it difficult because when you are not there, it then puts you into territory that you were not a part of, nor do you have the full information about. And therefore, the focus has been from March 2025, and as you've rightfully said, going forward, we cannot allow that prices are inflated because, like you said, this is taxpayers' money and this is money that we must account for. The period that we are able to account for, we will account for. And exactly that is holding them to task. With that said, you asked about the supply chain. Yes, we will come back to the House. We will present about our supply chain reform plan, going into detail of how that is being restructured. But because of time, allow me not to go into detail, and I'll bring it back to the House in detail with regard to how we plan to reinforce the supply chain. Lastly, a question regarding who did you inherit it from? From my knowledge, I was appointed on the 22nd of March, 2025, and we keep it at that. Then there is a question regarding lastly, a final question, when will the ministry provide medication? That is a very interesting question. I wish to just put on record that because of the procurement method that we have undertaken, we have officially signed off our purchase orders. Some of the items are ex-stock, meaning the supplies have immediately, so supplies are starting to flow in from this week already. We have been very particular about the fact and informing regional directors, superintendents about where we stand, and we've highlighted, even in the press release yesterday, stating very clearly that we expect stock to be stabilized to our optimal levels within the coming weeks, but medication starts to flow in this week. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. And the time being after 17 hours and 45 minutes, we rise on automatic adjournment. But before we do that, we stand to observe a minute of silence in honor of our legendary musicians, the late Hans Ras Shehama and the Jackson Kawiyewa Jr. Attention. May their souls rest in peace. Condolences to the families. Now the House rises on automatic adjournment.